Now, I do have a series on this channel called Hidden Gems, which is basically me talking about obscure games that you probably didn't know existed. But these are different. These are games with weird concepts. Weird everything, really. That'll scratch your head at its existence. Hey guys, DPX here. Welcome to another Top 10. Today, we're counting down the top 10 games you won't believe actually exist. Now, I've seen a lot of other lists like this, but it's usually just counting down the weirdest games in the entire world. This isn't quite that. If it was, I would have called this top 10 weirdest games in the world. And some of these games I wouldn't even call weird in the sense that its concept is weird, but just what is in the game. Can be like crossovers between characters that would make no sense at all. Therefore, you probably don't know that that exists. Stuff like that, as well as the weird stuff. Anyways, let's get started, but before we get started, you know the usual. Drop a like, subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. And you'll be a loyal subscriber. Let's get into this. Super Smash Bros. Is a game that is a huge crossover. I love Smash Ultimate, the latest game. In fact, I love every game. Smash isn't on this list though. However, Konami has a Smash Brothers. Yeah, a game where you can have Bomberman, Solid Snake, Optimus Prime, and Simon Wait, go back. Optimus Prime? Wait, and the dude from Adventure Island? As well as in this game? Okay, now this is weird. Yeah, this is, I guess you can call this Konami Smash Brothers, but it has so many things that you wouldn't expect to go together that it's just weird. I'm sure you didn't even know this existed. A Konami Smash Brothers. It was only released in Japan and on the PS2 and GameCube. So not too many people know about this game either way. It's a good game. I mean, it's Smash. Optimus Prime, though. Do you have any trouble talking to girls that need advice? If so, I got a tip. Never play Super Seducer. Ever. Super Seducer is a game that you can't even really call a game. It's a game where you, I guess, play as this dude named Richard, showing you how to get with girls. Here's the problem with this game, though. The advice it gives you is horrible. Just take a look at some of these.
That's correct. When you stop a girl on the street, you need to be directly in front of her and also leave enough space so that she can slow down and comfortably stop. So basically you're a balls and an asshole, and you need to take your and the other asshole. It's called genital jousting.
Not only that, there are multiple chapters, and just about each of them, he's with a different girl. Also, every time you get something right, your character is in a bedroom with 2 hookers. And this has also gotten a sequel within the same year with Super Seducer 2, and there's supposed to be another one. These games, you should not buy them, however, they're worth a watch, because they'll give you a good laugh. I don't even know where to begin with this one. It's a Sega Dreamcast game called Seaman, not Seaman. Grow up. How do I explain this game? Well, the best I can do it is, it's a game where you answer questions, and I mean like any question, from a fish with a human face and can talk like they're human. Yeah, that's the best I can describe this game to you. It's definitely one of the weirdest, strangest, most perplexing games ever created, but it's also very unique. You may be wondering, has this ever gotten a sequel? Well, it has, only in Japan. Hey, are you part of the demographic that likes to play video games where all you do is play with a rock? Then Rock Simulator 2014 is the game for you. This is it. This is Rock Simulator 2014. I mean, with a title like Rock Simulator, I don't know what I expected, but the fact that this game actually exists baffles me. Sure, there is Goat Simulator, Surgeon Simulator, Farming Simulator, and other simulators that exist, and they seem like weird concepts, but they have more depth than this game. Like, you can mess around with stuff in those games. This, you're just looking at a rock and changing the background and the camera angles. That's it. I think the fact that there is no Rock Simulator 2015 or further than that should speak for itself. Back in the day, anyone can make any game for any console, so you got games like Custer's Revenge on the Atari 2600. But there is a DOS game called West. I'm not kidding. I mean, that should speak for itself, really. You play as this kid with a weird-ass looking head and giant eyes, walking around finding stuff like porn houses, which is just a pair of bongos, and people f***ing. This is definitely bizarre, and if the game being called Quest isn't the only reason it makes the list, that says something. We go from a game called Quest to a game called Rapeplay. Do I even need to talk about this game and why it's on here? I mean, it's called f***ing Rapeplay. Pretty much, you are this guy around a woman and her daughters, and basically being the biggest pervert as a pervert can get. That's all there is to this game, but it's f***ing weird, and really shouldn't have never been made. Needless to say, this game actually got banned around the world. Shit. I don't know how else to start this segment other than number 4 is Toilet Kids. Yep, Toilet Kids. A kid goes to the toilet to drop a big one and gets sucked into a f***ing toilet and turns into a shoot-'em-up. Like the game turns into a shoot-'em-up, not the kid. Where a bunch of creatures take shits on you and you have to try to avoid it. I'm not kidding. You can probably see it though. So. It's actually not terrible, as in the game is not terrible, although I did die, and then I came back, and, like, nothing, like, when I was shooting, it didn't hit any of the enemies, so that was a bit weird. But you can't take this game seriously. I just want to know how this game is made, though. I mean, honestly, oh wait, no. Yeah, that's right. The Japanese exclusive. That explains a lot. You know what's not funny? The events of 9/11. However, 9/11 Survivor shows that someone didn't get the memo. Now, I'm not gonna lie, but this game is actually kind of funny. In a stupid way, but it's kind of funny. It really shouldn't exist, though. At least not under the name 9/11 Survivor. It's actually such a stupid game that you might even have fun with it. I'm gonna stop now because people start getting offended. Even though I didn't really say anything that offensive, people are still gonna start getting offended. When talking about games that shouldn't exist, you know, I never really see anyone talk about JFK Reloaded, but in my opinion, it may be the biggest example of a game that shouldn't exist. What is it? Well, you can probably tell by this gameplay footage. It's basically a shoot the president simulator. Basically, you try to shoot John F. Kennedy and basically relive the assassination of him, because that was such a great event that needs a game, right? Why does this game exist? Before we get to number 1, let's look at some honorable mentions. Alright, I'm just gonna get right into this one. This game is literally called LSD Dream Emulator, and by this gameplay, you'll understand why that is. Yeah, it's basically not even really a game. I wouldn't even call it a game. It's more of like, well, you just walk around in a first-person perspective, and you see a bunch of weird shit. Like this. I know, it's weird. I can't even really call this a game, though, because you don't really do anything. All you do is walk around. This has received a cult following, though, so maybe it shouldn't be at number 1, because if it has a cult following, people know that it exists. But, I mean, it's also, at the same time, obscure, even though it has a cult following. I don't know how to describe it, but it's something. It's sheer bizarreness, and just how you don't really do anything in this game puts it at number 1 for me. Well, that's it for this episode, or this top 10. What do you think? Did you believe any of these actually existed? Did you know about any of these before this list? Do you wish any of them were not made? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!
Gerald. Alright, the rest of you. So you want to see what happens if you bring me this kind of fucking dog shit ideas, yeah? Look what happens to Gerald, and this is going to be you. Right, you cunt. You're fucking fired. More than that, you can fuck off, alright? Take your shit and get out. 5 minutes.